Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching and Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channels. Welcome to those of you who are new. Over 2,000 audios on this channel of pro wrestling nature, obviously, and this is the 23rd of October, 1982 edition of the Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling deal. And so, obviously, I know there are people that do much larger, longer podcasts on various television reviews. I try and keep them 10 to 15 minutes, except modern day shows that are longer, because, well, hey, all you need to know is basic spots and if something's worth seeing, not necessarily every backstory and all of that. We do highlight angles when they occur, but angles happen much less than they do modern day, partially because an angle could carry you for a while. Anyway, Jimmy Valiant returns, Valiant and Ken Tibbs. Super simple match. Joe Sladuke manages to jump Valiant after the match. Punch kick by Valiant, drops the elbow, and there you go. Leduc and Sir Oliver Humperdinck out, and a comeback by Handsome Jimmy, or Boogie Woogie Man Jimmy Valiant, Handsome Jimmy long ago gone. Same guy, same body, different deal, but trying to tear the jacket off of Sir Oliver Humperdinck, keeping things going in his general direction there. Then we move to a tag team match. Tag team's a major deal here in the Carolinas, not to be outdone. Steamboat and Youngblood against Ben Alexander and Ken Larson. The tag team of Steamboat and Youngblood really committed to winning the tag team championships. These enhancement matches heading towards that. Obviously, when there's higher spots that need to be done, we see Youngblood come in with that. Cuts the ring off. Anderson's been around or Alexander, I'm sorry, been around for a little while here and manages to do some pretty good stuff along the way there. You know, arm bars and basic stuff by Anderson, who manages to catch Youngblood and Steamboat in the corner, both with forearms at various times throughout the match. Brawling around basic maneuvers, Steamboat comes back in and gets an advantage. Double chops by the baby faces, and they are in obvious control during the early stages of the contest. We then kind of see the modified cutoff. The heels take over on Youngblood for a little while. Tag back by Steamboat, and Steamboat comes in, clears house, and obviously your baby faces get the victory. Ron Ritchie cuts a promo here, basically challenging for, I guess, supremacy. Also given a little bit of a advantage. Greg Valentine is his opponent, and Ritchie obviously not going to, without some promo time, look competitive against Valentine. Valentine is still a member of the House of Humperdinck and managing to wear an all-blue robe. Valentine slows the match down with side headlocks and other basic maneuvers, tries to take the man over, and simply is dominant throughout. Humperdinck wearing sunglasses and trying to get an advantage for Valentine. Valentine hits with the forearms of his father, followed by a leg grapevine a couple of times. Ritchie cannot manage to fight off against the eventual figure four, although he does manage to almost fight free during the first application of the hold. Suplex by Valentine, and then the eventual second figure four gets the victory there. And of course, in the Carolinas, the issue with Wahoo makes the figure four even more over. There is a predominance of gold here as the tag team champions. Slaughter and Cornoodle in business suits, basically tired of dealing with all of that. Jimmy Valiant and Josh Ledoux going to feud over the television title, and Valentine wants to get his hands on Wahoo in some, post-promo action. Live event here as Ric Flair and Roddy Piper highlights are shown. Basically, Piper, a babyface, and brawling around with Flair on the outside of the ring for the first couple of minutes of this footage. Flair coming to town, and Flair and Piper, obviously a major match in 1982. And I mean, just imagine all the wonder there. Flair bleeding in the match obviously can't do nearly as much blood as they used to here, but many people would say that in fact, without interference coming from the wonder that is Greg Valentine, and Flair, of course, teaming in the Carolinas in '79 when Valentine first broke in as I believe Johnny Fargo. But that is there. So the alliance for the Flair aspect is here. And then we go to another in the series of matches. This particular match happens to be Jack Briscoe or both Briscoes, Jack and Jerry, versus White and Gray. And, basic maneuvers. Gray, not exactly a guy that we know a lot about. Bill White, obviously, been an enhancement talent here. Briscoes take dominance in traditionalized wrestling. Jerry taking the majority of the early part of the match. If you want to get into holds, arm bars, key locks, and other basic maneuvers, Briscoe's worth checking out here in 1982. Also, just kind of there. Bill White does manage to get dominance over the Briscoes for a couple of minutes. Not a terribly long time, but enough that if you saw that and were a new fan, you'd wonder who Bill White was. A modified, a modified basic deal there. And then we see none other than Mike Rotundo taking off the neck brace, promising revenge on Leroy Brown somewhere down the road, wanting that revenge, wanting to be the best he can. Also talking about training with guys like Wahoo and other individuals to be the best he could possibly be. Paul Jones wants the Mid-Atlantic Championship back as Briscoe coming back with that gold. And he says that he, in fact, had stolen it, which is not a factual case, but Briscoe and Paul Jones want the match, and they do eventually get it. We go to the continuance of that match. Both guys are doing a lot of collegiate-style wrestling early, pretty evenly matched, as it were. Punch kick and basic stuff. Jerry Briscoe in control anytime it goes to the mat for the most part. Paul Jones does beg off and tries to get Briscoe tries to get the sleeper hold on, does not get it, but manages to work the hold for several minutes. Brawling and working over the back of the leg and the hamstrings. Of course, Paul Jones having defeated Jerry Briscoe or Jack Briscoe before. Pretty big deal there, as they have a long history, at least 6 months long, if not longer, standing and brawling with each other. Both guys going to the top of things in a figure four by Jack Briscoe. Briscoe gets or sends his man to the outside, and Briscoe is successful in getting things going back his way for a moment. Paul Jones trying to sneak back in and cheat where he can. Briscoe opens up on his man and takes Jones back over the ropes, tries to get a submission using the ropes as an add-on. Top rope knee and nearly gets a victory, does Jones. This is a match worth going out of your way to see. Briscoe drives the knee of Jones that had been worked on for the entire contest into the canvas pretty aggressively, assertively, and basically there. Cinches up on the leg and the snapmare takeover, and ultimately they are brawling, and there is a trip and a hold of the leg by Sir Oliver Humperdinck, and Jones regains the championship under very questionable circumstances, thanks to the interference from Sir Oliver Humperdinck. We'll be back with more right after this.